when it can be years-long battle.
Look,
especially if it's
having
left
children is a
untreated.
serious choice. So what percentage of abortions, according to the Guttmacher Institute, are not rape, not incest, and not life of the mother? What percentage would you
Probably
say?
the vast majority.
97%.
Yeah.
So is abortion now birth control, yes or no?
No, I don't think so.
I think
But-
that's situational to each and every
Molly,
person.
do you think that birth control, it could be called birth control in certain
Because
situations?
you're talking about over 1 million abortions, but there's tens of millions of women that are on birth control, that that have IUDs, that take birth control pills. So obviously, that's not the only reason why.
But it's a
Or
form
that's-
of birth control. Is
It's
it
a
not?
form of birth
Because
control,
they're
sure,
not-
but
they're-
you
Oh, okay,
acknowledge
you
that it's
acknowledge
not
it.
the predominant form of birth control.
Well, no, I didn't say that. Hold on. I said it's birth control.
Yeah, but we're not disagreeing with the category.
Hold on.
I'm talking
So
about the
therefore,
prevalency of
if
it.
it's birth control, then why would we allow it to continue if it's not? If you put the rape, incest, life to mother, which we can debate.
I
which
didn't,
But
but-
no, I'm going to put that aside for a second. Then why should we allow a horrific procedure to continue that has such heavy and dire consequences and results in a child not being able to live outside of the womb?
Because that's
You're
somebody's
loading it
choice.
so much by
Horrific.
saying a
Okay.
horrific
Subjective.
procedure.
Hold on,
Most
so-
women who procure abortions actually report being happy long term because they made the choice, because there's many different reasons why women get abortions. Some women aren't in a financial position to have a child at that time and actually decide to have children later.
How'd they get pregnant?
What do you mean? They had sex unprotected
So
or
wait,
an accident.
So they want the orgasm without the responsibility.
Do you think the majority of women are having orgasms in sex? Are you serious? Have you
Well-
seen the studies on orgasm gaps between men and
I'll
women?
be honest. So they want all the pleasure. They want all, but it's you want all the loose lifestyle, but none
I
of the
don't want a kid from
responsibility.
Now you're framing it like the punishment for having it should
Hold
like
on, it's a
orgasm should be
punishment?
punished. No, the way that you're framing it,
No,
which is
it's
that
not a punishment.
oh, you
It's
want
called
the
a cost.
loosey-goosey parts of sex,
Hold
like
on.
the
If
orgasm,
you-
but you don't want the responsibility of a child. It's like, yeah, some people want to be able to have sex.
Okay, no, you
and,
articulate it
not have
perfectly.
kids.
I'm going to be able to have sex how I want, and if I have to go put a dagger through, or have someone put a dagger through a child for me, then so be it.
Sure,
think?
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that you're being morally clear, and basically it's my body. I can do whatever I want with it, even though. Let me ask you a question.
Even though, like I said,
if
most women
it's-
don't regret their abortions
Okay.
at all. Like the vast majority of women report happiness
Yeah,
and being okay with their decision.
I
I'm
find
sure
that
you think
hard
that
to
they're
believe.
lying or they're
Wait,
indoctrinated
I have
or
a
wrong
So,
or
but
delusional.
if it's
yeah.
not your DNA, how is it your choice?
What?
If it's not your DNA, why is it your choice?
It is.
No,
Because
it's the
you
baby
have to
has its
carry
own
the
DNA.
child
It's
to
already in
gestation.
your partner's DNA, and then it forms into
It has its own unique DNA that's not yours.
Here,
It's part
this
of
is-
your DNA. It's
this is
50-50.
my
It's half. Oh, so should the man then be able
Hold
to
on.
have veto power over abortion?
Well, the point is the man isn't the one incubating the child. So
But I thought if it's about
my-
DNA.
If you
Wait,
get
but I never made the DNA argument. You did. The argument that I was going to make was, or I was going to ask you the question: do you think another person has a right to your life and your body?
Does another person have a right to? Well, technically, because abortion was legal when I was in utero, someone did have a right to my life and body.
Oh, hey,
And my mom chose life. Praise God. So did all your moms.
yeah.
my mom
the
actually wanted an
argument.
abortion.
Are you glad that she didn't have an abortion?
No.
So you would rather be dead?
I don't know. I mean, life can be
If
difficult.
she
I'm not
didn't
gonna
exist,
be, I'm
you
not
would
gonna
not
be
be
that
able
deep.
to even
Send
know
an
what you
asteroid on
never,
that one.
Yeah.
what you never materialized.
A couple people wanted to come in really quick. It looked like you wanted to come in. I'd like to give you an opportunity to speak. Then I think you had more Pixie than Molly. Go ahead.
It was just backtrack just on what he was saying
Go
on
for it.
not wanting to have the responsibility. I think that's really, I don't really think that makes sense because I don't think sex is just for reproduction. It's just like asking you, like every time, I'm not trying to bring in your wife, but every time you have sex with your wife, it's purely for reproduction. I feel like that is very inaccurate. So I mean, it's hard to expect everyone who isn't in a marriage to just not have sex just because they don't want to get pregnant or just because they don't want to have that responsibility.
Wait, did you even make the argument that sex is purely
No,
for...
I didn't.
I don't think you did.
But Angel's making a good point, and I want to give her credit for this. What she's saying, and it could be misunderstood that I was saying sex is strictly for reproduction. What I was saying is that everything in life has consequences and choices, right?
Correct,
And
yes.
at times, the mainstream predominant narrative is that sex comes with almost no downsides, and we're going to give you either the technology, the procedure, or whatever to try to limit those downsides. But the difference is that when my wife and I have sex, if she results to be pregnant, which she did, is that we live with that consequence, which happens to be a positive consequence, right? A huge blessing. Now, I understand what I'm saying is very, very radical and very unpopular, but the ideal should be far less people having premarital sex and trying to have sex within marital guidelines, or at the very least monogamous guidelines, okay? So that if there was to be a pregnancy, that baby could be loved and cared for and brought into this world. I understand it's a hard ideal to even grasp and comprehend in a world where everything is very sex positive and sex abundant, but it's an ideal that I defend nonetheless.
I mean, I don't think there's anything that's in contradiction with being sex positive, but also wanting to help prevent unwanted pregnancies. I would just say to those women and those people having sex that you should be using birth control and family planning methods to make sure that you don't have any unexpected pregnancies that you don't want to have, to skip the abortion part altogether. I don't think anybody loves their abortion. I only said that people just don't regret them.
Are you guys familiar with what's happening with the chemical abortion craze that's going on right now?
No.
The pill that...
No, not the pill. That's different. I'm talking about where they're mailing chemical abortion packets.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where women are bleeding out and emergency room visits are up
What?
nearly 300%. You know, you guys should look into it. It's a very serious thing.
But why is that?
Because
it's
abortion,
becoming harder to
about
get
to say, it's
abortions.
because women don't have access to safe abortion, so they
That's-
start resorting to these sorts
There's
of
no
methods
such
that are
thing as
way
a safe
dangerous.
abortion. Let me be
Yes,
honest.
there
Okay.
is.
Really? You
But
just
it's
said that
safer when it's
there were
legal.
millions of women that got an abortion, but you're going to say that none of them were,
And
all of them died after?
All the babies did.
But did the women? Is it safe? Is it unsafe for a woman to procure an abortion?
But it doesn't. Well, hold on.
Answer that
That's-
question. Is it unsafe for a woman
Every
to procure an
single
abortion?
every single
You
abortion.
know it's not unsafe, that's why
every-
you won't
Hold on,
answer.
hold
Hang
on.
a
Let
second.
them answer.
Every
Let them answer.
single abortion has a victim necessarily, and many times has a woman full of regret that we are now seeing, and I'm not going to make up numbers out of nowhere, but there is a growing community of abortion regret, including, people that are speaking out and they're saying, I wish I wouldn't have, and it resulted in either difficulty to have children in the future or
But
mental
why do
trauma.
you care about their life?
That's a good question.
Or what about the moms
That's a good
like her
question.
mother, who I
So-
wish I actually had an abortion because that wasn't the life path that I wanted to go down, but it was one that I chose to make. Do you care
I'm
about
sorry.
those?
I care about all people. So why do I
But do you care about that specific opinion?
I'm
Somebody who
sorry.
regrets not getting an abortion.
Regrets not. No, I don't regret that mothers wanted to murder their
But do you
kid.
care about the opinions of moms who actually say, I have a child, but I'm not happy with having a family. I
But why
actually
don't
wish
they-
I had gotten an abortion. Do you
Why-
think that
Why don't they just
opinion-
kill their kid then?
I don't think that it necessarily follows that if you regret not getting an abortion that you're going to commit murder.
What
But it's,
about
the same, but it's the same thing. Yeah, just put
What
your kid
about
up for
it?
adoption.
What about adoption?
If you regret it so
But your
bad, just give it.
13-year-old I don't think most people at that point, they're not going to
Hold
put
on,
their
you
kid
could
up
drop
for
a kid.
adoption.
Why not? You
You
regret
could.
it.
No, I'm not saying anything's stopping them. I'm saying most
Yeah,
people
drop
are
your
not
kid
going
off
to
at
do
the
that.
foster
But
kid system.
if you ask them, like, would you have rather had an abortion or a family? Some of them might say, yeah, actually, having a family and raising a child is very hard. I actually
So
wish I had an abortion.
I
not started
don't
a
doubt
family.
that opinion might be
Not
held.
everybody is fit to be a parent.
But let me just answer your question really quick. Why do I care? If you cannot get the life question right, then you get every other question wrong. When does life begin? And I care about the innocent. I don't like bullies. I don't like evil. And I believe it is an act of evil to destroy those that can't defend themselves, including the 1 million babies in
Are you
in utero.
pro-contraception? Are you pro-women
Personally, or I'm agnostic on the question politically, meaning it's legal, so be it.
Okay.
But I wouldn't consider it to be a good lifestyle choice,
You wouldn't-
including most specifically hormonal birth control. Now, mind you, I'm over my skis on this being a man, but I will yield to the growing community of women on both sides of the political aisle that are ditching their hormonal birth control because they say, I don't like the way it makes me feel. There has
Or
been,
they want an IUD, which is a non-hormonal
one
form of
one
birth
second,
control.
but there is a growing body of literature by Dr. Daniel Amen and many other people that show that the pill increases anxiety and depression and certain types of ideation. So again, I am not going to act like an expert on that, but that's a legit community online of people that are ditching hormonal birth control.
I think the way that you're like phrasing things of like, oh no, like murdering the babies is quite interesting, because I don't think in like any other example where we have a person and their life is somehow connected to someone else, if they decide like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, like I don't want to give my kidney to this person, I don't want to continue this blood transfusion, I don't want to continue this process, we wouldn't go and point at them and be like, you're a murderer. So I just think that there is a distinction to be made here when you're saying like, oh no, they're murdering babies, by just deciding that like, hey, actually I don't want this like fetus to continue using my lungs, my blood, my organs to continue developing. Like, would you call somebody who doesn't want to have like give a blood transfusion or give a kidney or something
No,
like that?
that's a good question.
murder?
That's actually a good faith question. So if I had the specific type of blood type, okay, and in a hypothetical desert island, there happened to be a medical facility, and somebody right there needed a blood transfusion, and I said no, I would be complicit in their death. Yes.
Okay.
I'm
Do you
saying
think-
That is the extrapolation of the hypothetical you
So
articulated.
if what is it?
Complicit to the
wait,
point
let
that
me
you
finish.
should be punished if you refuse to render aid to that
Wait, Aaron,
person.
let
me
Pixie
finish.
finish.
Yeah.
Aaron,
Then
let
you
Pixie
can
finish.
finish.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, so if the government decided, hey, you know what, like let's say Joe Biden is put in the hospital and you're the only person for whatever reason in the world that can like give him a kidney and you have to basically give him like constant transfusions of blood for like the next year, would be a murder if you decide not to do that.